this is your new topic. Okay, and basically guys, you can understand like what is the difference between authentication, okay, and authorization. How many of you know it, and how many of you can recall it? I think I have covered it out in the ISCP course. How many of you can recall it? Authentication versus authorization. Anyone? Parag?
ऑथेंटिकेशन तो वही लॉगिन वाला हो गया.
Authentication is related to who the user is, while authorization is what the user can do.
Exactly. Exactly. Authentication is like validating something. So you give your username, you give your password, or some kind. Sometimes you give your dynamic passwords, like your one-time password or one-time PIN and all, and you try to actually validate yourself. So that's called authentication. Okay, like authorization is giving users some kind of a roles. For example, guys, you log in into your Facebook. This is the same example which I've given you guys in the cryptography module as well, when I was talking about the authentication versus authorization in ISCP. Like suppose you go and log in into Facebook. Okay, you use your credentials, you log in into Facebook. Fine. So you are authenticated onto the website. That's perfect. You have given your username, you have given your password, and you're authenticated onto the Facebook. But what if you try to go onto my profile and change my profile picture? Would you be able to do that? You are authenticated, but you are not the authorized person to do that. So both of them are completely different. So here we are not dealing with authorization, guys. Here we are just dealing with the authentication. Once we will be reading the advanced IDOR topic, there we will be talking about the authorization issues, privilege escalations, and those issues. But right now, what we will be dealing with would be the authentication part. Okay. So guys, in authentication, I would like to start out from the OTP bypass, some of the basic test cases. See, like I think you know the very basic case of an OTP bypass. Like what you do actually, you just go on to a website, you just capture the right OTP response once, and after that you again enter a wrong OTP and replace it out. So whenever guys, whenever checking whether the OTP is right or wrong, okay, at client side only, okay, client side only, this could be very dangerous. Okay, this could be very dangerous. So always, every time you need to verify and you need to check or verify the request at the server side, not just the client side. And only if you are allowing login into the account based on some true and false conditions, okay, based on true and false conditions. Okay, so basically in this true and false condition cases, it's pretty dangerous again. So what an attacker can do, attacker can just capture the request of a right OTP once, and after that any number of times he will be entering a wrong OTP of any phone number, and then after that he will be replacing it out. So very simple test case. I think each one of you are aware with it. Like if I go on, and for some of the guys, like I have just talked about these things, so that would be a quick revision for you guys. Okay, so if I go on to a website, suppose healthy.in. Okay, healthy.in. Let's log out from this account. Okay, so I think this is a case which each one of you are aware with. Okay, let's click on log out. So you have been logged out successfully. And suppose this time if I want to go again, okay, let's go again to the login page. Let's reload it out. Okay, let's see. Okay, now let's go on to sign in or sign up. So once you go on to sign in or sign up, guys, you will notice that in the sign up field, we have these much available fields. Like for example, we would have to put down a name, we would have to put down an email address, the phone number, type in a password, accept this box, and then click on submit, the sign up button. So let's enter some name, for example, Ranjit, and suppose Ravan. Okay, first name and last name. Suppose if I put down any email address, Aditya XYZ, okay, at the rate gmail.com. And suppose if I put down any random phone number, suppose 9393929291. Okay, let's check if it is 10 digit, 5 plus 5. a random phone number. I don't own this phone number. I've just entered out a random phone number. And if I enter some one to password over here, click on I accept the terms and conditions. Now if I click on sign up, guys, let's see what happens. I clicked on sign up, then OTP has been sent out to this phone number. Okay, 9393, whatever number I have entered out over here. Now, what I can do, the simple case, guys, is like go to your burp suite, turn the intercept on. Okay, those who are aware with it, it would be a revision. Those who are not aware with it, it's a very, very important attack which you should have in your bucket. Okay, so what I will be doing, I will be entering some random OTP 1234, and with this burp intercept on, guys, with this burp intercept on, we will be clicking on submit button. Okay, so once we click on the submit button, guys, you will notice that a request was going on to this mobile API slash version 2.1 slash router post.php. This was the endpoint. Okay, and this was the header, and from this host header we can identify that this is the request which was going to api.healthy.in. Okay, now this request we are not bothered about. Why? Because this request does not contain an OTP. Basically we are looking for a request which was taking our OTP from the browser to the api.healthy.in server. Okay, so there is no OTP over here. Let's click on forward. Okay, this is a request of a third party service which this website is using, Facebook. We are still not bothered about this third party service request. So let's click on forward. Now if you look closely, guys, you will notice that again there was a request going on to api.healthy.in. This was the host, and you can see the type was verify OTP. Okay, app ID was healthy, the platform was web, and the mobile number was this one. Okay, and the OTP which I have entered, a random OTP, is over here. So I think each one of you know over here what to do now. Let's check the response from the server. So for that, right click, do intercept response to this request. So basically I want to look out, okay, what is the response which the server is giving back to this request. So let's wait for the response, and in the response you guys have noticed like, okay, we have got a 200 okay response, but the status is 0 and the message is incorrect OTP, please try again. So what we can do, we can try to change these kind of a values, like these kind of a status values, some true and false values. Okay, so let's change it from 0 to 1. Okay, maybe this 0 was for a wrong OTP, and this binary one, it was one for the right OTP, just like your true and false conditions. And now if I just change it out, correct OTP and please try again, let's delete it out and let's click on forward, turn the intercept off, let's go back to the browser and let's wait and let's see what's happening over here. Okay, do you notice something? The OTP has been successfully bypassed, and if you go on to the profile section, you have made an account using this email ID and the phone number is this one. And you have successfully verified out this OTP. So this was a simple test case, guys. Okay, so I think each one of you, you were aware about it, yes or no? A basic response
Yes,
manipulation
sir.
case,
Yes, sir.
yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, chalo. So this was a very simple case, guys. So you can understand like how is that vulnerability when we are creating an account. So basically it's a vulnerability because you are able to use out this phone number without verifying it. So that's a bypass, na, Aditya? Like for example, if someone starts using your phone number on this website and perform some kind of a job and some kind of a thing over here, so that's an issue, na? This is your phone number. Okay, and it's not just on this sign up thing. You can just try it out on forget password. You can try it out anywhere where there's an OTP. It was not just specific to your sign up thing. Okay, so it was just a demonstration. You can try it out on login. You can try it out on anything. Okay, whenever you get an OTP, you can try to perform a basic case of a response manipulation. Okay, so I think this would be clear to you guys now. What was the main reason behind it, guys? The main reason behind it, guys, try to understand that. The first thing is like whether the OTPs are right or wrong, they are being checked improperly based upon some conditions, and that too on the client side. That was one thing. The second reason, guys, is like after the response, the server and the browser is basically trusting your response. Okay, your server, okay, sends a response. Okay, someone in between intercepts it, like we did it. We intercepted the response, intercepts in between, and after interception, guys, we just changed out something, changed, or we performed response manipulation. And the main reason, guys, of this attack to work is the browser trusting the response
That
blindly.
server side validation you have.
Exactly. There is no server side validation. The browser is trusting whatever it is getting. And now the browser is actually creating new requests. After that, browser is creating new request or new requests on the basis of response received. Okay, so you can understand like someone was sitting in between. He just captured out the response, manipulated it, and the reason of this attack to work was the browser trusting the response blindly, and it trusts it, and it creates the upcoming, the new request on the basis of the response it has received. Okay, and there is no server side validation. So if someone asks you in interview why this reason, why this attack is working, so explain it to him these 3 points, like whether this was the first point which I wanted to make. Okay, first point, this was the second reason. Okay, and this was the third thing. Okay, so client side ki validation, there should not be a client side validation only. Also, the server should not, browser should not be blindly trusting the response. And finally, there should be a server side validation of each and every request. Okay, this was a very simple test case of a OTP bypass.